Spanish. Are you kidding me? No, I don't understand. The notary said it was just.
He just needs to do his work. His work is to verify the statement, and
he wouldn't sign it for some reason. He was scared. I don't know. I went not only one time to a couple of
you probably
notaries.
know what you will be achieving with that.
Probably.
Because he knows that you're working against it.
Yeah, because now if the notary sign, that is basically with that acta de manifestación, with that paper signed by the notary saying that you are a living man or a woman, is basically an ID. That is an ID.
Did you check one thing? I think you don't need a notary. I think to sign something like this, you need witnesses. Point 3 witnesses, 3 names, 3 passport numbers, and 3 signatures, and it should have the same validity.
Yeah. Witnesses are fine. You
don't need the notary if you had witnesses.
The thing is this:
if you go to court,
or you are dealing with. The thing is this: that when you're dealing with government agents, 90% of them, they only understand their own rules. So when you come up with a notary signed by a notary, it means this is your government signing here saying that this is my ID.
That's your corporation saying.
This is your corporation. You don't know what you're talking about. This is it, and that's it. That's the end of the discussion there. That they understand. So you get out of the situation immediately with that. In any situation, with the sworn oath signed with the other witnesses, they won't understand anything, and you would have to go to a lot of trouble to get out of the situation. With the notary, that thing with acta manifestación signed by the notary, it gets you out of any situation, even in court, with a police officer, in any situation, because you are acting as a living man, representing, being the beneficiary of that account. What is your ID? This is my ID. It says that I'm a living man, and that number, that account number, is just an account number that I manage. That's it. It's very simple.
Sorry, is that the same thing? What you talked before about the
correcting status?
About your own company thing, the patent.
That is, yes, that goes along with the patent, because the living man is going to be the CEO of that company that you created. Yes, you correcting. So the thing is this: we were establishing that we need to take care of the 3 pillars of civil law, which is status, with establishing that we are not the person. The person, persona física, persona jurídica, sujeto de derecho. They call it different names. Legal terms, codes, secret codes that the government uses. They have millions of codes. And the thing that you have to understand is that in every code, there's a remedy. All these mandates, there's the mask, let's say the mask mandate. When they publish that in the BOE, Boletín Oficial del Estado, when they publish that, they also publish the remedy. You are mandated to do this, but here in the fine print, there's a remedy. If you don't reply, you have 2 months. They're giving you notice, which is exactly what we do. We are just replicating the same process, the due process of law, or commerce law, or private international law, maritime law, common law, and if all that gets into conflict, equity law prevails when there's a conflict between these other two, many other laws that collide in court, because they use they use all these laws in court. When these laws collide in court, what prevails is equity law. And for me, the most important rule of the principle of equity law is, if you want equity with whatever it is you're doing, you have to do equity, which is you have to notify, which is what the government does when they told you you are mandated to use the mask, but here's a remedy. If you don't want to use it, you have 2 months to reply and present your case. They are being equitable. You guys didn't know. It wasn't a mandate. It was an offer which you have consent, acquiesce, because you didn't reply to the notice. But if you don't want to reply to every notice in the BOE, then you have to correct your status, your properties, and your obligations or contracts, and send them to the government. Say, look, none of your regulations, Boletín Oficial del Estado, mandates, directives, or any other thing will apply unless you can provide, and it will apply to me, Leo, the living man, son of God, if you can provide the binding contract with Hacienda, with traffic, DGT, that if you say I have to pay taxes for my car, if I have to pay a fine, if I have to pay EVs for my property, so you have to notify to all the parties involved that are going to come after your body, your property, or your contracts. So we established that we have to take care of the status, correct the status. And so we corrected the status that we established, we sent to the court or to Hacienda, to the DGT, to the director, number one in the Dirección General de Tráfico, traffic. If you don't want to pay fines anymore, you tell them, look, or either you wait to get a fine or you just notify them and tell them, look, I'm going to pay all the fines that you said I have to pay, but you need to provide a contract. Your number of corporation is that. Are you a corporation? Are you anyway? You can ask. You can establish some ground, and then say you have to follow process of law, commerce law, and you give them 3 notices. The same is with every entity is the same, but you have to give them notice so for the negotiation to be valid, to be lawful. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You give them 30 days. You tell them, look, you are demonstrating in court. Imagine every situation. Imagine you are in court. If you are in court and you are showing the willingness to solve the situation, that you are being honorable, that you are telling the truth, nothing but the truth and the whole truth, and that you are willing to go to jail if you lie, and you are establishing the very basic rules that are undisputable, basically. And that's how you do it in every situation. So you did that first you have to correct your status, and you sign go to the notary or get your witnesses saying that you're the living man or woman instead of the legal fiction. Now with your properties, again, ideally you want to buy your properties with your commercial ID that is not the government ID. Either the patent or I have 2 different IDs. This one is the commercial ID that is registered in the patent office, in Spanish patent office, which is valid all over Europe because it's part of the Spanish patent office. But I can go and sign private contracts all over Europe and use this number to buy different properties with another party that wants to sell me the property in the private. Or this one, it is another company created in 2017 that they created a company to print IDs and passports, and also car plates to drive your car. You can take your plates, the Spanish plates, out of your car, buy a plate from these guys, buy an insurance for £1 million to insurance your body, not the car. You insurance the body, not the car, and then once the plates arrive, you have to pay 200 euros or pounds, I don't remember, and then after you get that, before going to drive with your new plates, paying no taxes, and when the police, before dealing with that situation, you have to notify traffic and tell the number one in traffic, notice to agent is notice to principal, notice to principal is notice to agent. They are obliged to notify themselves from the lower to the upper ranks of the corporation. You notify them and tell them, look, guys, I'm going to operate this device that is used for transport private property, my private property, which is my private property, and I'm going to use it and be under the jurisdiction of the international common law with their plates. And I have insurance, I have the car, you swear under perjury that you have an insurance, that you're going to be liable if something happens, and everything. You are being honest, and you have all the rights to travel, and you're establishing jurisdiction to travel without using their property. And when they stop you, you already notify them 3 times to the DGT. The same thing. But so you just don't take the plates